everyone, welcome to another episode of Dayspring Discussions. This is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am your host, Sean McGahee, and joining me today is none other than the Dark Knight himself, Mr. Joshua Dell. Angel, Josh, what's up?
Hey man, not much. Figured I had to show up when we're getting into
exactly. We're going to talk a lot of Suicide Squad today, definitely. So normally how the show goes, guys, if you haven't listened, Josh and I usually run down some stories that happened last week and we discuss them, and then you are supposed to fire back on social media or email and let us know what you think as well. But kind of a special episode because whenever a big movie comes out, we like to mainly just talk about that movie. So I don't think we're going to spend the whole hour talking about Suicide Squad, but we very may well, considering all the controversy that is surrounding the film. But before we get into that new Warner Brothers film, I got a little bit of bone to pick, okay? You ready for the bone picking? All right, man. So, the new Transformers movie is in production, Transformers The Last Night, directed by Michael Bay, coming out June 28th, 2017. And last week they were letting out a lot of character images of the new Transformers, Autobots, and such.
Right, I saw that.
And one Rod was the main character in the 1986 Transformers animated film. Okay? Now, in the picture they laid out last week, they described the character as brash, slightly arrogant, and a bit of a protector, which kind of fits the character description of what the character was in the animated film as well.
Right.
Now, in the movie, though, Hot Rod actually gets passed down the Autobot matrix of leadership to Optimus Prime when he dies and becomes the new leader of the Autobots, going through the whole character journey and transformation, which was phenomenal. Transformers animated movie, still the best Transformers animated movie, with a rocking soundtrack, okay?
I have noticed that, man.
If you want to talk about the definitive 80s soundtrack, Transformers the movie. Check it out, man. I have it on my iTunes. I'll burn you a copy if you want.
Oh,
great
dude.
Soundtrack. But I grew up loving this film. I literally love this film. Every time he grabs the Matrix and he's just like, and now light our darkest hour. And Galvatron is actually the character when Optimus Prime and Megatron fight, they both die, but Megatron is like Galvatron is the reincarnated version of Megatron. So it's pretty cool. Great film. You need to check it out. It's coming out on Blu-ray on September 13th.
What?
Yes, so I'm all about that Blu-ray.
Redistributed.
I will tell you about that. But anyway, getting to my beef is that they're now bringing Hot Rod into the live-action films. And my beef is the live-action films suck.
Okay? this generally that.
They generally suck. So for me, taking my most favorite Transformer, and I still, like, when I go to the Target or Toys R Us or whatever, I look for, like, a Hot Rod toy that I can, like, buy. And I haven't found them. There's, like, but I can't find one at the toy store, and the ones online are too much money.
Oh, you'll be able to find them after.
Is what it is. Because the last good Transformers movie was the first live-action one, in my opinion. So the fourth one were crap. And to me, I don't want that thing that I grew up loving to be ruined, really.
Well, in my opinion, what film, this is like number 4 or 5?
It's number 5 in the live action.
And obviously, I mean, granted you don't like these, but obviously somebody's going to watch these movies. And with me, in my opinion, these films,
Chinese people.
there's a little bit of hope that it might be good. I mean, they're going all out. They're bringing some of the original cast members from the original. They're bringing Anthony Hopkins in.
Oh, there you got Josh Duhamel, Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese Gibson. They're all coming in.
They're bringing in the big guns.
It's still got Mark Wahlberg though. Ugh.
Yeah, well,
it's his character. I don't have a problem with Mark Wahlberg. I have a problem with his character.
He'll probably bring the comedic relief there. I mean, so
no, he'll bring his teenage daughter that he probably he's doinks on the side.
He's a professor, man. He's a professor.
He's an inventor, and that was the funniest part of the entire. Forget all the actual jokes in the film. The funniest part was Mark Wahlberg trying to act like a smart inventor. He had like glasses on. I was like, what the hell? You got this guy. You're telling me he's a brilliant inventor? Come on now. I'm sorry, Mark Wahlberg may be able to act, but he can't act that good.
He builds and works out, man. That's the only thing. He invents stuff and lifts weights.
So anyway, I'm just a little worried that they're gonna take Hot Rod and turn him into something crap. Or some people are saying because they're bringing Hot Rod in, and this film is called The Last Night, maybe he's gonna get the Matrix leadership like he did the animated movie. Maybe they're gonna pass that down. I don't know.
I haven't exactly kept up with all of them besides the first two. Like still being a new chapter being rung up or a new.
I'll let
new
you borrow the
generation.
Blu-ray when I buy it.
Oh, thanks.
Best 80s soundtrack, hands down.
I watched a few clips, and that's the first thing. That's funny you mentioned. That's the first thing that kind of.
The Stan Bush soundtrack, he does the main two songs for the film, and he also did the main.
Yeah,
so
definitely
it was
sounds familiar.
Stan Bush, hands down, awesome 80s singer. So, all right, so let's came out on Friday. You saw it on Thursday, right?
I did.
Okay, so a lot of controversy surrounding the film. The critic ratings are really low. I believe when I looked this morning on Rotten Tomatoes, this critic rating was at 27%, and the viewer rating was at 72%. Now, the film actually did really good this weekend. It made $131 million, which is the best August opening for a film ever. The closest was Guardians of the Galaxy, which was 2014, and it still finished I think it was almost $40 million ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Damn.
So a great start for the film. Needless to say, I'm sure Warner Brothers is happy with the money aspect of it, but the film is getting kind of slammed as far as the quality of it. General thoughts about the film, maybe some things or characters you liked, maybe some things you didn't like.
I think the last time I was this excited for a movie, this amped up, was overly excited about the movie. So I've been thinking about that a lot. Overall, the movie was entertaining. It was fun. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think what's really catching everybody, and probably the reason why the critics are bashing it, is this whole group, team, squad. And squad we trust. That's the aspect that really caught my eye. It's like DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy. It had that same fun vibe.
That.
Right. It had that same fun vibe to me.
Okay, so you went to the opening night. Was anybody else was there anybody there dressed up at all?
Oh hell yeah! I was sitting. My dad was actually sitting next to a Harley Quinn and
yeah.
a Joker.
Was it a Harley Quinn that looked like the movie or like the original Harley Quinn?
The original Harley Quinn.
Okay.
I believe she was wearing black and red leather. I think.
Okay, like the full Jester outfit.
Jester outfit for the most part. And then the Jokers I kept seeing were basically Heath Ledger's Jokers. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah,
there were definitely people dressing up there. That definitely probably added to the excitement. I have to say I got to see it again, man. I'm gonna take Amber to go see it, and I feel like that's gonna give me more of a realistic take on what and be able to dissect the movie, scene per scene.
Okay.
But,
so what characters did you like in the film? What was your name one or two characters that were your favorite?
Surprisingly, I loved Deadshot's character. The more I think about his character, I thought that was the character I was most worried about. I liked him. Harley Quinn, that whole relationship was what carried the movie. I mean, I think he's
between Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
He had Harley Quinn, the crazy psychopath, but also very attractive woman, kind of battling this. And who am I kind of aspect? Yeah, and that I was really worried about. Now the characters I didn't find interesting. Rick Flag. I kept thinking the whole time, I was like, man, Tom Hardy almost played Rick Flag, and I probably would have liked his. It was, to me, when I went into the movie, I thought of Rick Flag as Nick Fury. That's what I was relating to.
He's more I almost thought of him as a bad version of Steve Trevor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I kept associating with Nick Fury. He's almost diabolical a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a soldier. So.
And the actor who played him, Joel Kinnaman, I like him as an actor. He played the newest RoboCop in the new edition, which people rag on, but I actually like the RoboCop movie. So send me your hate mail now. But I like him as an actor. I think it's pretty decent. My phone's going off here. Anyway, so overall, what would you give the rating of the film? What would you think?
I'd have to say a solid.
Okay, so we now have 3 films in the DC cinematic universe. Put them in order. What?
I'm not going to count Man of Steel, though.
Okay, well then you're down to 2 then. So that's
obviously
not really
last place. Theatrical cut of Batman versus Superman.
I'll give you that. Yes, I'll give you that. I think the ultimate cut blew. I can watch that thing all the time.
Really?
I let Anthony borrow it, and I just want to go back and rewatch it again.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, okay. So I saw it on Sunday night, and I gotta say, the word I keep saying to people is, I mean, it just didn't hit me. It wasn't a bad film, not a bad film, but I didn't think it was a good film. I was honestly bored. I was bored during the film, okay?
No.
It was just like, oh, come on, man. And I felt like the best parts of the film were in the trailer. Whoever cut that trailer together, give him a raise because he did a phenomenal job with the film.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
I agree with that.
my main problem was the story. It was very bland story, a very cookie cutter story, a story as a guy who watches quite a few movies, I've seen a million times. Okay,
right.
They took these criminals, they put a little thing inside of them, so they out. Guess what? That movie's called Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. Okay, among other movies. There's another one as well. That's what is it? Lockout, Breakout, something else like that. Same that even stole their premise from Escape from New York. So either way, I've seen the movie before. So that's what it was. It didn't do anything to impress me. There was nothing in the film that really was new. But yeah, there was nothing really original about the film, which kind of, I guess, disappointed me a bit because you had this great cast. You had Will Smith, you had Margot Robbie, you had Jared Leto, and they didn't give them like material that they could sink their teeth into and really enjoy. Okay, so
well said.
In the first 10 minutes of the film, I was watching it. Okay, and first up, they were coming out and they were introducing the characters. They brought out, Harley Quinn and Deadshot. By the way, guys, we should have done this beforehand. Spoilers, okay? We're going to go full spoilers. I don't think you gave anything away yet, but I'm going to give a few things away. We'll go in full spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, come back to us, pause it, listen to this later, okay? So beginning of the film, you have Harley Quinn and Deadshot, and then that's the only two characters they show of the Suicide Squad. So that right there, you get the sense these are your two main characters.
Right.
Okay? And then you have...
Captain Boomerang.
Well, I mean, you have, what's her name? Viola Davis's character, Amanda Waller, walking there into that restaurant. And then she starts to introduce all the other characters. You get the little backstory on everybody and stuff like that. And each person has their own song. And it's a pop song. By the time they're done with that introduction, you've already gotten like a dozen pop songs, okay? And I'm just like, oh my god, this movie's trying so hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's ridiculous. Okay?
That's came to mind.
It's ridiculous, okay? And then you do that, and then you get to the point where she's meeting up with the government guys to talk about her task force X that she wants to. Right. Now, if you started the movie right there, you could throw out those first 10 minutes because everything you learned in those first 10 minutes was given to you again later on in the film.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, because that beginning felt so forced. And it's like, here they are. Oh, you want to, here they are. Here's a new song. Here's a song to go with them. Here's a song that describes the character. Here you go. It was so forced. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I felt like if they should have taken that out, started with her talking about her task force, that would have been, a lot better in my opinion. But it is what it is. The difference between this movie, versus Batman v Superman. When I saw Batman v Superman in theaters, I was severely disappointed because I love Superman and I like Batman. Notice how I said that, okay? I like Batman as a character. I love Superman as a character, okay? So I had a much more deeper affection for them, which is why I was so more hurt when I was disappointed in the film.
Okay.
With Suicide Squad, I really have no attachment to these characters. Like, okay. I'm not a big Harley Quinn fan. I'm not a Joker fan. I'm not a Deadshot fan. So I gave it probably a little more leniency than I did Batman v Superman. Like you said, I was going to wait and see it on Monday because really I wasn't rushing to see it. I was just like, yeah, whatever.
And I got that vibe from you. But at the same time, on that note, I had a similar mindset going into the film. I knew this was going to be a side note to the entire DC universe, to the story that we want to hear, which is AKA the Justice League
exactly.
story. I knew this was just going to be was an appetizer to me.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I went into it. So yeah, the characters are what kept my attention in the film. The acting, the story, because I know the backstory on most of these characters.
Yeah.
That's what kept me entertained. So I do want to see the film again. I feel like I'll be able to really dissect it. I kept looking. I mean, this was just for me. It was just gonna be fun. It was gonna be. It's like watching a Batman episode on on TV. It was like a short, thin story plot. That you can plug these characters in, but I agree with what you said. They had a great cast, an all-star casting, and they didn't give them enough.
They didn't give enough character depth and stuff like that because they're focused on the action and just the film in general. It's just like I said. It's just to me when I got out of Batman v Superman, I went and saw it a second time because I wanted to get a better perspective on it. And I felt like there was so much missing from that film, like just a bunch of scenes that there weren't scenes to bridge them together. Then you watch the ultimate cut, and there's those bridges scenes that make it all one whole and make it a lot better. With this film, I felt like there was nothing really missing. Now, David Ayer and even Jared Leto have said there's about 10 minutes of almost Joker stuff that can go in the film. And there's, could possibly put in Blu-ray as like they did with Batman v Superman, do like a director's cut or a Joker cut, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I felt like the film made sense. It was all complete. I didn't feel like anything was missing from the film.
Okay.
It wasn't exciting, man, really.
Yeah.
And the funniest part, this is the funniest part, okay, to me, was Enchantress, okay? She was the villain, okay? And she starts making all these, like, making her weapon, her mystic weapon, and brings out her brother to help her. And he's all, like, magic and mystical and, like, world-ending things. And I'm just like... What the hell's the Suicide Squad gonna do? Okay, the only person really equipped to deal with this magic was
El Diablo, basically.
Diablo, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all these other guys are just like regular humans that are just tough and shoot guns. And I'm just like, seriously, get the Flash, get Wonder Woman, get the Justice League. That's me. As soon as I saw what was happening, I'm just like, where's the Justice League? Suicide Squad's not gonna be able to handle this. This is bullshit.
Even Flash alone, I feel like if you got Flash from the television show and plugged him into this story, I feel like he would have been able to solve this issue without.
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think
he would need a help. Well, that made me think too. Is like, man, this plot here should have been the first Justice League movie, and then they worked their way up to like Darkseid and stuff.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of with the Justice League movies. Of course, you're going Darkseid right off the bat. Your main villain.
You're diving into that pool, brother.
I'm going to dive into that pool and give him that criticism. Yes, whereas Marvel has taken a dozen or more movies and still building up to Thanos. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying the threat seemed like bigger than what Suicide Squad could have handled.
I think, in my opinion, what comes to mind is Jeff Johns' graphic novels. They're short, they're sweet, and he has this ability to write a story that one doesn't take forever to read, but it's thick, man. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's very entertaining. It's a crisis. I feel like DC needs to get Jeff Johns in there and write some of these stories.
Good thing he's now president of DC Entertainment and is co-writing the Wonder Woman script.
Yeah.
So there we go for that. With that, I feel like I'm now on this roller coaster with the DC films, okay? Because you had Man of Steel, which I didn't like. Then you had Batman v Superman theatrical cut, which I didn't like. But then I saw the Ultimate cut, and I'm like, all right. And then I saw the Wonder Woman Justice League trailer, and I'm like, all right. And then I saw Suicide Squad, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's this constant, they're solid. They're not always the best, but at least they're, smooth most of the way out. This, DC is just giving me this one big roller coaster to go on.
Yeah.
And I now, like I said, I was so excited to see Suicide Squad after seeing the Comic-Con trailers and Ultimate cut of Batman v Superman. Now I'm just like, I don't know. My excitement for Wonder Woman has now gone down a little bit.
I hear
Given,
that.
again, that, they're the way they're treating these characters. Because getting to more of the controversy as well, there was news after Batman v Superman received kind of poor critic ratings and didn't quite hit the benchmarks it was supposed to, that Kevin Tsujihara, the president of Warner Brothers, went in and he actually demanded recuts and re-edits of the film. Now, director David Ayer was kind of under scrutiny as well because he only had 6 weeks to write the script, and Warner Brothers was not moving away from their release date, and they, so it put a lot of pressure on David Ayer to do that. So, according to a source or a studio exec at Warner Brothers, they said that Tsujihara was more worried about Suicide Squad after the Batman vs Superman poor critic rating and failed to make $1 billion like it would hope. An executive close to the studio said Kevin was really pissed about damage to the brand, and that concerns were raised when the dark tone of the film didn't match that of the trailer. That's when the studio decided to let Ayer continue with his version of the film while working on their own cut of the film with the help from Trailer Park, the company that actually cut the trailers for Suicide Squad. Sources close to the film said Ayer was aware of this and on board with the Warner Brothers pursuing an alternate cut. Both cuts were tested on audiences in Northern California, and after getting feedback, common ground was found, and the studio's cut won out. Cut that was in the theaters. So, I mean, granted, this one is from an unnamed studio executive, so when it's unnamed, I don't know how reliable it is, but I believe that part where, Warner Brothers was on damage control after Batman v Superman got low critic scores and didn't quite make as much money as they hoped to.
They're just making too many cuts to these films, man. They're I don't know if it's just they're overreacting or what. I get they need to make some type of change if they're getting bad reviews on Batman vs Superman, but I can't help but think they're just doing too much to these films.
I cannot believe, as soon as I got done watching Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut, I'm like, my God, did Warner Brothers shoot themselves in the foot or what? Because anyone who's watched the alternate cut, especially those of us who were really disappointed with Batman v Superman, I know you weren't, you thought the theatrical cut was okay, right?
Yeah.
And then you liked the alternate cut just a little better. You weren't overly... Well, when I saw the Ultimate Cut, I liked that better because I was already starting low. But everyone I've talked to, really has enjoyed the Ultimate Cut better. One of my favorite film commentators, John Schnepp, he really hated the film. He's a big, sweaty nerd. He runs Collider Heroes, loves comic books, and he's just great. And he was like me, severely disappointed in the film, thought it was pretty much crap. Then he saw the Ultimate Cut, and now he raves about the Ultimate Cut, kind of like I do. If they would have just released just that extra 30 minutes and released the Ultimate Cut as the theatrical cut, granted, they would have, probably lost, a couple of screenings a day, maybe 2 screenings a day. But my God, people would have loved that a lot more, and they would have made more. I guarantee they would have passed $1 billion had they released the Ultimate Cut.
Yeah. It's not a smart business move, man. I mean,
They're so reactionary too, where Kevin Feige, he has his plan. Originally, Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds film, was supposed to be the start of the DC Cinematic Universe again.
Right.
Okay? Which, they're so reactionary to everything. It's crazy where they're doing that. And because they're doing that, I think it's totally messing with it all.
Yeah, I agree, man. I just don't see Marvel doing all. I don't hear about Marvel making.
Yeah,
all these cuts.
They don't react to how something was.
Yeah.
But to be fair, none of their films have received a 27% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
What is going on about these critics hating on DC Universe so much?
I was listening to the John Campea podcast this morning too, and somebody commented about how with the Marvel movies, they're very close as far as from critic to audience rating. They're maybe most 10% off from each other.
Okay.
But all the DC cinematic movies have been like 27% critic, 40, points away from each other.
Right.
Versus the two. And, he was talking about how to be able to get a critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I looked it up. I don't fit the criteria. Darn. If you could not even have seen the movie, much like on IMDb, you can just say, oh, Suicide Squad, where it's at, where anyone who hasn't even seen the film, if you're just think you're going to like the film, they can automatically do a 5-star or whatever.
Right.
So the audience rating, not the most reliable. So with a critic rating, they have to have seen the film. Plus, as a guy, I don't consider myself a critic maybe, but I know I watched quite a few more movies than most people. And, when it comes to that, people say, oh, the critics are wrong and the critics are this and that. And I'm just like, okay, maybe true, but I respect critics more nowadays, knowing that these are the guys, this is what all they do is they watch movies, okay? So when somebody says they like a film, who are you going to trust more? The guy who saw 12 movies last year or the guy who saw 200 movies last year and has a better, what do I want to say, portfolio, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm getting off topic here. Suicide Squad, okay, it's the characters. I didn't talk about my characters yet. So Harley Quinn, I was expecting more from her, and I didn't get it. Again, it has part to do with the story, and they didn't give her enough than we've seen, I guess, in the DC animated series, the Batman animated series. They first introduced Harley Quinn, and their relationship was, the Joker tricked her into, releasing him and kind of falling in love with him and all that stuff, and then but he still treated her like crap.
Right.
With this version, you could tell he actually had general affection for her.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm fine with. They played that off fine. That's great. Just the relationship again, I didn't get enough of it to get a better sense of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm curious about what these 10 minutes would add to that, to the depth.
Yeah, exactly.
The little we got from it, I enjoyed a lot. I took it and ran with it, man. I mean, the Joker and Harley Quinn were my favorite.
Barely in the film. You had that other guy who died in 2 seconds because he tried to run. he didn't play a big part as far as speaking parts, but I love the part in the bar where like ball, and he's like, "You're free to go." He's like, "Okay," and he walks out. You know, that was hilarious, man. Was it Diablo?
Yeah.
He was good. I liked him.
I liked his character.
Okay, he was. You could tell that was a character I think they did a lot with. They could tell you could see the conflict within him.
Right.
And that's great. Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Some say she's the true villain of the film.
Yes.
Because she's such a bitch.
Man.
But I love it. That's how she's supposed to be. You know what? She's a head government official. You gotta play rough.
She reminded me of Trask from X-Men.
Yeah. I think she was a little more volatile than Trask.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely.
But that was awesome. And then, of course, you have Will Smith as Deadshot. And to me, you said, Harley Quinn and Deadshot were your favorite relationship. My favorite relationship was between Deadshot and Rick Flag.
Really?
The kind of the respect, because you see at the end of the film, they have that when Deadshot is with his daughter and he's there just kind of watching over him, and they bring in the change. He's like, no,
Yeah.
They've kind of got that relationship that grew throughout the film
Right.
as a mutual respect for each other. At first Deadshot thought that Rick Flag was just some dumb soldier boy. Rick Flag thought Deadshot was just
coward
for hire,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So they through that experience, they learned to grow and respect each other, and you could see their relationship throughout the film grow. And that, to me, was the best part of the film.
Yeah.
The thing, of course, that I'm gonna say right now is for the criminals who do good things, but these are the real bad guys. These are villains, okay? And I'm just like, okay, Taylor Croft, not a villain. The only two people out of that whole bunch you might be able to consider a villain was one, then Villainy, and then Harley Quinn as well. But you stand her next to the Joker and the squad, there's only really two villains, in my opinion. So to sit there and say it's about the villain, just tried to make an edgier version of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is new action. So I knew that's what they were doing the whole time.
How would you have felt? I mean, if they had approached this Suicide Squad and just gone full throttle, we don't care if you like these characters or not. This is who they are. I feel like there was so much that they were trying to give you a filtered version of these characters so you like them.
Yeah,
so
that's what you had to do. That's
them.
when you said if you make a movie about villains, that's the problem, because you have to make the characters relatable and likable.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of they try to alter him a little bit. Because I knew when they cast Will Smith as Deadshot, I'm like, first off, he's going to be the lead character, and secondly, he's not going to be a true villain. Because even in the Arrow TV show, when they've had Deadshot now for several seasons, he wasn't really that much of a bad guy. Like, he was talking about how he killed the character Diggle. They killed his brother, but I'm just a hired gun. I'm just hired to do a job. Somebody hired me to kill your brother. That's all it was, man. Somebody else was the one who really wanted your brother dead. So Deadshot, again, in that opinion, it's a job. So I'm not going to say he's an angel, but if someone gives me $2 million to kill somebody that I know is a bad guy and has done bad things, give me the gun.
Just so happen to be very good at it.
I'm just saying, I mean, if I get $2 million out of it, I'm like, okay, you want to take this bad guy out who's doing bad things anyway? Okay.
Right. So did you buy the fact, because I don't really consider Deadshot a metahuman. He's just a very talented.
No, he's like a Hawkeye. He's a good shot.
Yeah, and so did you buy that from?
The rumors like a few months ago that Deadshot might be in the Batman movie. I get it now because get revenge on Batman for arresting him.
Right.
And so I can totally see that. I can now see him more of these characters. So I want to see him pop up in other things.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have a Suicide Squad sequel because after the
hype has gone down a little bit.
Yeah, a movie can open big because if it's a highly anticipated film,
right,
everyone goes that first week to go see it. The reason, say, Batman v Superman didn't do as well versus, say, Captain America Civil War, repeat watching. Okay? You got to have guys like me and you that'll go back and watch it a second or third time in theaters.
Right.
And Batman v Superman didn't have that. They had people that went, saw it the first time because it was an event film, didn't like it, so they didn't go back and see it again.
Right.
Whereas Captain America Civil War, I went back a second time. I wanted to go back a third time, but I didn't get a chance to even.
Yeah.
So it's repeat viewings, and then, of course, that goes into the enjoyability of the film, which is something that I think Warner Brothers films are lacking.
Right.
At least they're not. They're doing something wrong, and I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, I'm not paid this kind of money to say, and I'm not an expert. I don't think it has anything to do with the jokiness. Like people saying, "Well, the Marvel movies, they're funny."
No. It's something about the plot. I think it is. I think it's something about.
To me, like I said, I watched the Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut, and I think that is an epic film. Still, not a funny tone to it.
Nope.
It's still got the same tone as the theatrical cut. It's just better material to sink your teeth into, I believe. And that's what I'm with Suicide Squad. That's what it came down to me. Is there was just nothing there really to latch onto as far as character wise, and make me dive into the world.
I can't help but thinking that you don't like Suicide Squad because you're a Superman fan, dude. You love the Boy Scout films, man. I mean,
okay.
I gotta say, I'm a Batman. I was excited just because you had Harley Quinn, you had Batman villain.
Excited because I'm not a villain guy. Like I have my Disney Infinity characters that I like to pick up. Darth Maul, and I'm like, no, they're villains. I like my heroes. I'm not that dark. I like Captain America. I like Superman. That's just who I am, man.
But what was it about Guardians of the Galaxy that really caught you to the film? I mean, besides it being I guess a better film.
If you really want to know, okay, if on my phone I have my all my contacts are listed as Marvel Cinematic Universe characters. Okay. I got you as Falcon because I see you as a kind of a Falcon. Lisa's Natalie Portman's character because she's like that character. She's very sciencey, stuff like that. So when it came to myself, I was like, well, who should I put? I like to put myself as Captain America, but I don't want to be that arrogant. So I asked some of my people who know me a little longer. I asked some of my buddies, and I'm like, so out of the MCU, who do you think I am? And they're like, Star-Lord. Like, you were hands down Star-Lord.
Really?
Okay?
I see that.
And I totally got it. As soon as someone said it, I'm like, yes, that's totally right. And that's, again, one of the reasons I like Guardians of the Galaxy is because I can relate to Star-Lord.
Yeah. Star-Lord's a little bit of a fanboy, right? I mean, he's
an 80s fanboy,
yeah.
Because, he makes 80s references, like, Ninja Turtle, you better get off of me, all that. So
definitely.
And that's
definitely.
Exactly. So good stuff to go there. Just, more characters that, you can latch onto.
Right.
I believe, so. All right, well, I think that's about enough on Suicide Squad, unless you got anything else to add. You said you want to go see it a second time, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go see it a second time.
Would you buy the Blu-ray when it comes out, or are you going to buy the Blu-ray when it comes out?
I'm going to wait to answer that question. I'll see it a second time.
Because it's one of those things for me, I'm like, okay, if a Blu-ray comes out and say it's a director's cut, I'll watch it. With this, if I saw some deleted scenes, even then I'd be like, I'll watch the director's cut.
Scenes, if they put that into the film, if they have a cut where that is in there, I'd buy it.
If there's an extra half hour that might
cut, and I didn't hesitate to buy that at all. So I got to be fair. I think I would. I'm
alone and jump into some other stuff. Let's see here. Okay, so before we run out of time, we don't get to enough often. Hopefully, we'll get to more in the future. It's called Let's Talk Some Star Wars.
Yes.
Okay, so we just got the announcements a few days ago. A new Rogue One trailer is going to be shown Thursday night during the Olympics.
Oh,
you been watching the Olympics at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I love it. We had watched swimming last night, gymnastics. The women's gymnastics, I think the finals are tonight or something. Watch them. The USA women's gymnastics are phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, I've been watching them. I've been watching a lot of volleyball.
Oh, Phelps is doing his event, the 200-meter butterfly. He's doing that tonight. So he got the gold in 2004 and 2008. Got second in 2012. You didn't watch last night at all, did you?
No.
So the guy who took it from him in 2012 is in front of him, kind of warming up, shaking off, and almost like he's trying to get to Phelps. And Phelps has this containers. We're just like, I could watch this for an hour. Let's just keep it right here. It's just that you could feel that, but that guy still qualified. And then the other guy who won the Worlds last year. But they call me Aquaman. Yes. Anyway, so then Phelps. So the guy who actually won the World Championships last year was in a different heat. So he got Phelps, the guy who beat him for the last Olympics, and the guy who beat him in Worlds, and he's going up against both of them tonight.
Oh man!
Now even in
showdown,
and then even in last night's semifinals or qualifying, the Phelps and his competitor didn't even get first. There was another guy that came up and got first. Now, granted, Phelps, after a while, he was leading the whole race, and he knew he was going to qualify, so he might have shrugged off a little bit. But this other guy actually won that heat. So really, it's a 4-man race, I think, coming up, and I'm just excited. Again, I'm Aquaman, so I like swimming, so I'm excited to see what's going on. One thing I really thought was cool was like watching the gymnastics. I'm just like, man, this is exactly what like Nightwing and true like Dark Knight, Nightwing style right there, doing the flips and all that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, all right. So backing up, going to Star Wars. Rogue One trailer's coming out on Thursday. I'm sure we'll talk about that next week. I'm excited for that. And really, it's awesome because we had Star Wars Celebration a few weeks ago, and people were kind of disappointed you didn't get a trailer for Rogue One then. The people who were there got a little like 1-minute snippet of new footage that they didn't release to the public. But this totally makes sense because for the last month or two, I've had several of our coworkers ask me about Rogue One. They're like, oh, is this episode 8? It's not episode 8. And that's what Lucasfilm and Disney need to get ahead of. They need to get the general public to know this next Star Wars film is not the continuation of The Force Awakens. It's it's an anthology film. It takes place before A New Hope. And where are you?
Yeah.
So if in this trailer they need to take this trailer and needed to press and make takes place before the first Star Wars film. So I'm hoping that's what the trailer does. I think a main thing they can do to do that as well, show Darth Vader.
What?
Yeah, we already know he's in the film.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you show Darth Vader, that's going to give a lot of people, I think, a sense of time as well.
And that's a character you can plug in there, and you don't have to say anything about it being it. You don't have to make it clear. That character will do it for you.
You have him pop up for like 5 seconds and show the breathing. That's all you need, man.
Yeah,
that's
I want more than that, though. I want more than that.
Well, hopefully we get to see him in the film, like kick some ass on the battlefield. That would be awesome.
Oh man, some saber fighting. Nice.
So again, this film taking place before Episode 4. And one thing they just confirmed that people have kind of speculated or people have been hoping is that Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
He was on the talk show The Talk, and they asked him about Star Wars, and he said, quote, and then he went on and he talked about it more. He said, can you say the word cameo? Can you say the word small part? He's going to have a small part, obviously, but he's going to be in it, which makes sense because when you talk about this together to go capture the Death Star plans, the 3 main leaders of the rebellion, you got Admiral Akbar, Mon Mothma, and Bail Organa. So to put Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa in this film makes sense.
We're getting Akbar back, right?
I'm not 100% on that. I know they've already shown Mon Mothma in that first trailer, which I love because that was not the original actor who played Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi. It's the Mon Mothma that played Mon Mothma. I said that. Nice. And Mon Mothma played Mon Mothma in Episode 3, but those scenes of her in Episode 3 were deleted. So if you're a geek like me, a Star Wars nerd who knows that watched the deleted scenes, you know that's the actress from Episode 3. So it's awesome they got her back for this one. And that's with her and Jimmy Smits. It signifies the connective tissue. People who don't like the prequels and be like, oh, they suck, blah. Because you now have 2 actors that were in the prequel trilogy in this film, so it connects the tissue between the 2 trilogies.
Do you think we'll get a young Princess Leia in there, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
No.
My hope is, here's the thing: is people have been speculating that you're gonna get a young Han Solo played by Alden Ehrenreich. I don't want him in the film. It was my hope that we never see another version of Luke, Han, or Leia again, at least in a regular film. If you want to put him in a spin-off film. As far as Han Solo, where he's the star, that's fine.
I don't think it'd be necessary.
I don't think you need to put them in either film. There's so many other characters. Let's not. They've already cast another Han Solo and Alden Ehrenreich. I don't think you need to put another Princess Leia in there. I don't know.
I just don't think it'd be necessary to put Han in there.
Yeah, but the only thing would be is that a New Hope begins. In which case, at the beginning of New Hope, you had Princess Leia on the run from the Empire because she had the plans. So if that were true, if it takes place that close, you gotta kind of show Leia since you got
getting the plans.
You gotta see the head, or yeah, that's right. He's got at least I think Bail Organa. If you don't see him anything, it's gonna be at the very end when he puts the plans onto the ship,
right?
And maybe you don't see Leia's face. But you see him hand the plans over to her or something
back
like
of
that.
her head. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
You have to at least have that transition.
Show the buns.
Show the buns.
Exactly.
You have to at least have a scene where that transition is made because, in New Hope, he thought she was dead or he thought he had lost her. He makes that comment to her in the film where, hey, I'm glad to see you again. So.
Exactly. And it's one of those things, too, where I am of the fan theory This is just my own personal theory. There are two Star Wars characters that everyone has seen, Bail Organa. Now, allegedly, he died when Alderaan was blown up in the first Star Wars film until you see them die. And being that he was such a pivotal character of the Star Wars lore, of the rebellion, I think there's a lot more you can do with him, honestly. There's a lot more you can do with this character than just, have him die on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping maybe Jimmy Smits will play a little smaller role in this film, but maybe come back and do something later. It could be one of those things where, like, maybe Bail Organa, he was, didn't even let his daughter know that he was still alive. And then after the Empire falls, maybe he comes out of hiding and, something happens between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens to where he dies. But, of course, he would die because he's old by then. But anyway, I like that Jimmy Smits is coming back. I want to see more of Bail Organa. I know, right? You just got to watch on Thursday, which is fun. I mean, we've been watching Olympics.
I'm off Thursday.
Yeah, chances are the trailer will drop online before the actually premiere, because that's what a lot of trailers on the Facebook group. Because as soon as that trailer pops up online, I'm going to share it on the day. So moving on, the other piece of Star Wars news we got going on is from ABC Entertainment President Channing Dungey. Looks like Dungy, but I don't think it's spelled like Tony Dungy. Anyway, he was talking to Entertainment Weekly about the plans for a live-action Star Wars TV show. He said, quote, "We have had conversations with Lucasfilm and will continue to have conversations with them. I think it would be wonderful if we could find a way to extend that brand into our programming. It's a little bit hush-hush. That company exists under a big shroud of secrecy, aka Disney. If you feel that Marvel's secret, Lucasfilm is on a whole new level. Talks are ongoing. We don't have anything official as far as timeline yet." Now, there are currently two Star Wars television shows going on. The first is a Lego Star Wars, The Freemaker Adventures, and the other one is Star Wars Rebels, one of my favorite shows. I love Star Wars Rebels. You still haven't watched it, Josh?
Nope.
They want to do a live-action animated show. Now, back under the old Disney, right after the prequel trilogy, they were talking about doing a live-action Star Wars film called Star Wars Underground. They had like 50 scripts for it, and they were all set to go. And former Lucasfilm producer Rick McCallum called it Deadwood in space, pretty much. He said, quote, these aren't for kids. I mean, we hopefully think they'll watch, but it's not targeted towards 8 to 9-year-old boys. Kind of like how the Star Wars movies are.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more of adult Star Wars universe, which is fine. Star Wars Underworld, they're probably going to focus on the bounty hunters and stuff like that, which would have been cool. So a lot of people have been talking about, if ABC is talking about it, they're going to get kind of a kiddier version. Maybe it is targeted toward kids.
Definitely.
And a lot of world, maybe even try to get hands on those Star Wars Underworld scripts and make something filmed by Disney. So Disney owns Lucasfilm. Okay. So I get that affiliation there. The number one fan theory, HBO Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, in the style of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, just, you see I post those videos where, like, you have Game of Thrones, but you replace their swords with lightsabers. And that's Knights of the Old Republic, man.
That is.
And give it that more, but you don't have to go that full, NC-17, nudity, people's throats being cut or whatever. But give it more of an adult tone, I think, would be a good thing to do. I mean, that's just what I would like to see. So for you, Josh, what would you rather see more? A Star Wars Underworld, which is like a Wild Wild West, bounty hunters kind of show, or maybe a more Knights of the Old Republic, Game of Thrones kind of theme? Not like I said, not as hardcore, but a more medieval theme.
Blasters or lightsabers, always going to pick a lightsaber.
Of course,
bro.
of course.
Always. Knights of the Old Republic, man. I mean, that whole mythology behind that story is epic to me. It's awesome. Yeah,
and people love the Knights of the Old Republic video game and the mythology there.
Man.
I mean, if you go in and you just hop on YouTube and type in Knights of the Old Republic, I believe it's like cinematic movie.
Yeah.
The new Knights of the Old Republic game, they had the trailers they had for those are so epic, and they put all like 4 or 5 of them together, and I just watched that for like 20 minutes. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I definitely need to do that now that I got the old Apple TV hooked up to YouTube. But, yeah. Definitely.
My only problem is, okay, this is the ABC executive they're talking about, which makes sense, like I said. Disney owns ABC. They also own Star Wars. You want to get a TV show out there, live action, more for adults. ABC is the best way to go about it. My issue is going to be the quality. Because if you look at Marvel, you have Daredevil on Netflix, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC.
Right.
God, Daredevil is like head and shoulders above what
Agents of
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. can do, just because they're restricted, because they're on a Prime network, so they want to appeal to families. Daredevil doesn't have that constraint. Now, I'm not saying Star Wars has to be like rated R hardcore, but if you want to go a little darker tone or want to do something a little darker, you're not going to be able to do that on ABC.
And how do you create something that we haven't seen from Star Wars before? We have Star Wars Clone Wars, we have Star Wars Rebels, which are lighter, more appealing to kids.
To be fair, Star Wars Rebels is not as light as people thought it was going to be. I mean, trust me, you haven't seen it, so you cannot judge, okay? Don't judge until you see it. Trust me, you watch the season 2 finale, you ain't gonna call that show lighthearted at all.
all right, fair enough. But my point is, how do you have to show us something we haven't seen before, and we haven't seen a Star Wars television show that is a little darker. That is a lot. I mean, if you're gonna go live action, I feel like you have to appeal more to the adults too. I mean. But I'm just thinking how epic it would have to be. How expensive would it be to make a television show with that much, graphics, that much creative, I guess.
That's why they had the problem with the old show they wanted to do, the Star Wars Underworld, is because each episode was going to cost too much money to make.
Right.
The main thing was what happened.
Yeah.
So like George Lucas wrote, like I said, 50 scripts, 50 episodes or whatever, but it was just, they were too expensive to make, so that's why they never made them.
Probably just put too many damn Gungans in it, that's what he tried did. And then Gungan family comes here, and then Jar Jar Binks.
At least they don't think so. Gosh, whatever, man.
It was episode 1 on steroids.
In any event, we'll just have to wait and see how that all pans out. But yeah, man. Star Wars wise, Rogue One coming out, so we'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
Do you think we'll ever get more pod racing?
No.
We're done with that part
I think
of our lives?
we're at that point where I think Disney, Lucasfilm, whatever, they're trying to separate themselves as much from the prequels as possible. And everyone can agree that Episode 1, out of all the Star Wars movies, Episode 1 is the worst one. So I would try to distance myself from that film as much as possible. I only watch Episode 1 and Episode 2 when I'm going to go on a marathon, okay? Other than that, I'll watch Episode 3. I'll defend Episode 3 to certain points, okay?
Yeah.
Not a great film, but still okay. It's everything we wanted to hear from the backstory of Star Wars. If you just watch Episode 3, I think you'll be fine, in my opinion. So with Episode 1 and 2, I'm like, we can forget those. Let's just throw those out. If we want to send those into obscurity, that's fine by me. Episode 3, I'll defend Episode 3. I'll say I kind of like Episode 3, and the other two we can just say nah.
Episode 2, I really can't argue for. But Episode 1, I mean, you got pod racing and you got the Darth Maul fight. You got one of the best lightsaber fights that we've ever had.
I'll give you that. But with Episode 2 and 3 as well, again, I'm a nerd. I know what deleted scenes they took out of Episode 2 and Episode 3, and if you watch my personal edit, they're a little better. I like those scenes in there, and I think it makes the film better. With Episode 1, there's no good deleted scenes. What is in the movie is what's it, and what is it isn't very good. Okay. Granted, that's the thing, man. People like the pod racing. I can give a crap less about pod racing. When I'm watching the film casually, if I ever do, I go from when they land on Tatooine and then I fast forward to when they leave Tatooine.
Oh my god!
Seriously, if you took that Tatooine stuff out too, I might even like the film better even more. It's kind of like when I watched the Masters of the Universe, which celebrated its 30th anniversary. If you take the part where they're on Eternia and they go to Earth, fast forward through the Earth stuff, and then get to the part where they come back to Eternia, which really is like a half hour first part of the movie and the last half hour of the film. It's okay. You just gotta skip the middle part there.
Interesting.
Just how it is. But in any event, that's all for us today, guys. We talked so much about Suicide Squad and Star Wars. We don't have time for anything else. There's other stuff we could have talked about, such as Star Trek and Guardians of the Galaxy and the CW shows coming up. Real quick, though, you read the little thing I had here about the four TV show crossover, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've watched Flash. We haven't watched any other shows. Do you want to watch Arrow, Supergirl, DC Legends tomorrow because you're hearing more about this, or are you just going to stick with Flash?
Man, I'm just so attached to Flash, man. I've seen bits and pieces of Supergirl. I've seen bits and pieces of DC Legends tomorrow.
DC Legends tomorrow. I haven't seen Supergirl yet because it's on CBS, and I don't get CBS because I have Hulu. DC Legends tomorrow, I do not recommend. But I feel like you would really gravitate more towards Arrow. Okay. And you watched the first couple episodes, didn't you?
I still haven't gotten in. She loves the second season. She's told me herself it's fallen off.
It's fallen off. The fourth season was horrible.
And now
we see each other on like Thursday or Friday. We're like, you watch Flash? Yeah. You watch Arrow? Yeah.
It's hilarious to hear even her, say she's having a hard time adjusting to the movie. Spoiler alert, his little bitty cameo.
His cameo in Suicide Squad. We did do spoiler.
I mean, I'm having a hard time disconnecting with the my Barry Allen, man. That's Barry Allen to me. So, but.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Any questions or comments, hit us up at dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Also, hit us up on the Dayspring Discussions Facebook group or on Twitter.
Are you still tweeting?
Yeah, I still tweet. Mainly I tweet pictures, really.
Okay.
I don't do a lot of like posts. I just do like pictures. Like I posted a Star Wars one this morning. Nice. Usually what I do is I'll post it on the Facebook group and then I'll post it on
So I'm
Twitter.
Seeing whatever
you see. I try to post, as far as picture-wise, I try to post the same stuff. But actual news stories, I'll actually post on the Facebook group. I don't really do it on Twitter that much. On Twitter, I'd post pictures, and then our podcast is really what I do. So, anyway, so hit us up on social media. You can also ping 12. Josh, where can the good people find you?
Instagram, I am Batman20. I figure out when, man. I know Amber's wanting to go see it, so definitely.
I came back and I told Lisa, and I'm like, yeah.
So I know.
No. You were definitely going to see it. Lisa just finished The Cursed Child. I gotta.
Damn, she already finished.
Shorter. So yeah, she finished it. She said she really liked it. She said she'd love to see it as a movie, and she said that if the play ever comes anywhere in the continental United States, we have to go see it.
Done.
So
that'd be interesting to see.
But yeah, I gotta start reading it myself. So all right, guys, well, that's gonna be it for us today. Tune in next week, and we'll have more to talk about. So until next time, same bat channel.